And welcome to Midwest Ghost Hunters Dark Matter Podcast. I'm John, Chris, and Dustin. We are all live today, once again, from Pythian Castle in Springfield, Missouri.
Yeah, big thanks again to the folks at Pythian Castle for letting us do our podcast from here. It was a long shot back in the fall whenever we were talking about taking the podcast more on the road to more paranormally, is that a word?
Paranormal
active places.
Locations.
Is what we were trying to think of. You know, we thought of several. Of all the ones that we mentioned, I did not include Pythian Castle because to me it didn't seem possible that we would be able to get in here to do our podcast. But John mentioned, what about Pythian Castle? I said, well, I'll try. And it was the one that bit. So here we are. It's the Dark Matter Podcast with Midwest Ghost Hunters. Thank you for downloading this episode. Last week we showed you some of the audio that we've captured while we were actually on site at Pythian. We're going to have more of that coming up for you. Not necessarily on this podcast. We still got more work to do, listening through our recorders and whatnot.
By the way, if you do want to do any of the ghost tours, Pythian Castle actually does ghost tours here on an ongoing basis.
And that would be a good website to. I think it's. I'm going to find out before I start spouting off websites that aren't the right one. But yeah, they do. If you're interested in paranormal, in the paranormal, which turns out more people are than I ever would have imagined.
Yeah. And this place is very, very active.
We can tell you. Look, I know in the past we've talked about, hey, we're going to do a day investigation and see if paranormal activity happens during the day. It happens at 10 o'clock in the morning.
On a Sunday.
On a Sunday morning.
Yeah.
Just with us sitting right here. So we can tell you 100% that paranormal activity, in general, doesn't just happen at night. And does absolutely happen here during the day because we've caught maybe we should flash back to last week just really quickly.
We've caught shadow figures on stairs.
Let's just do a real quick recap. Let's include, first of all right, we're not going to beat a dead horse here because if you listen to last week's podcast, we're not going to do a repeat of that. But I just want to catch people up talking about Pythian Castle and some of the activity here inside the castle here in Springfield, Missouri. So we have caught whistling. We actually had that corroborated by one of the tour guides who said that they actually hear whistling inside the castle. So that was the whistling we captured that was actually corroborated by one of the tour guides who said they hear whistling in the tunnel. I only play these again to point out that, if you're thinking about doing some kind of paranormal type tour, for fun, if you want to be more in a group setting than, doing the stuff we do where we sit, in rooms in the dark.
Well, and they also, because they have investigated this on a pretty regular basis here, they kind of have an idea of where to take you to.
Yeah, they have a really good idea of the hot spots.
Something.
Yeah, it's kind of like whenever you go to the fish hatchery to go fishing.
Right. It really is.
They're going to take you to the spot where they just let the black bass go.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
So, if you're thinking about doing a paranormal tour, and we make no kickbacks in your money from this period, we're just letting you know we've been here for several weeks and we have caught paranormal activity with the sun shining bright, on a Sunday morning. So,
right. Yeah, everything's stacked against it. We're not down in the tunnels. We're not.
No, we're just up here on the main level.
Yeah, you can see out the window.
You can see the sunny skies outside, and we've caught several times during the podcast, Dustin or John or whoever's yanked their headphones off and be like, "Did you hear that?" We hear stuff. And we've caught some stuff. We've caught pictures. We caught a shadow figure in the middle of the freaking morning.
Yeah.
On a picture.
It happens.
So it does happen. And if you want to do that kind of tour, a girls' night out, or if you want to even take, I don't know what their age limit is. Did she talk about that at one point? I think she did.
I don't think they think it's for really, really little kids. Yeah, I think that it's primarily a 12, 13
probably
over.
So, and we can find that information out. But you can find all the information at pythiancastle.com.
Schedule them early.
Yeah, yes, that's right. Schedule your tours early. It was cool when we were here, a couple of weeks ago. They had all the Halloween stuff up. That was pretty cool stuff. They had all their Halloween decorations inside.
Yeah, and it's really, they almost don't need it.
It's kind of built in.
Yeah.
The point I was making, though, is we've talked about doing a day investigation, to see if paranormal activity happens during the day, and it does. Obviously, it does. We've experienced it. Now, we're not talking about anything that you see like on Ghost Adventures where it's going to overtake your body and you're going to be pounding the walls and, spinning on the floor.
No, that only happens at night.
That only happens at night.
That's the premium tour.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to be a gold ticket member to get that. But no, we're just talking about if you want to experience what paranormal activity is like, you can.
It really is
get
a good
taste
one.
of it. Yeah,
It really
is.
It really is good.
And not only that, but it's got the history. It's got the super cool, setting. We've got the shields up on the wall. We've got the death certificates out here in a book on the table out here. You can look through those. Those are incredibly interesting.
This is the real deal.
There was one suicide in there. You can read in the death notice. It happened like on a Sunday afternoon in 1942. A guy cut his own throat with a razor. I mean, it's just brutal. There's been some brutal things happen here. So it's just, the place is ripe for paranormal activity. And, we've captured several EVPs and pictures. And if you wanted to experience some of that, you could do your own tour and experience it yourself. Go to pythiancastle.com and all the information is right there. Here's what we're going to talk about a little bit. We do have an investigation this week, and I've got to be really careful I don't say where, because this is an active business. It's open. And it's a medical facility, and we got to be really careful that we don't give it away because number one, there's nothing there that's going to harm anybody, and number two, the part of the facility that we're going to investigate is empty, even though the place is open. 3/4 of the place is open. This part is empty, but they just don't want their business hurt.
Sure.
They gave us permission to do this, and I don't want to go out here saying, well, if you want to,
it's haunted.
Yeah, so nobody wants that.
No one's going to put grandma in a place where it's definitely on it.
Exactly.
Well, and here's a question I've got on that. I've always wondered this. Why is it you see a lot of claims of the care facilities, the long-term care facilities, nursing facilities, whatever the correct term is for them today?
Yep.
You see a lot of claims about those being haunted. You don't see as many claims about hospitals themselves that are haunted.
I'm going to feel like, you ever seen Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory? Remember the kid who watched TV all the time and everything he said referred back to a TV show? Mm-hmm. I'm going to be that guy again. But there's another really good show called Haunted Hospitals. It's on Travel Channel. Haunted Hospitals covers that exact topic. Now, most of the time, the people who have the paranormal experiences in these hospitals, these are active open hospitals. It seems like a lot of times they're custodial staff, the people who are cleaning the floors, down at the morgue. Or there's obviously a lot of nurses too, and even some patients. There's some patients.
Here's the thing. Here's my thought on it. Right. Because you always do hear about hospitals. I've always heard ghost stories from hospitals, nursing homes, schools.
Yeah, schools. That's a big one.
What's the common theme between all those places? People are always there.
True.
There are lots of people always there. And that's the same can be said for right where we're at now.
And the same goes for hotels. There's a lot of haunted hotels.
My thing is, a lot of people will tell you, because more people die there. I don't know. I think it's probably more so that there's more ears there.
And that's probably right. And that's probably right. I had just always heard a ton of care facilities and not as many hospitals that I had heard.
I know a few nurses who've worked at Mercy, here in Springfield, that have had some pretty good tales to tell, from the overnight shift. And actually, we're going to have some of those on.
Yeah.
And now that we have the technology and we've kind of got our footing a little bit in our new setting here, now that we're able to actually have people call in to the podcast and participate that way, we're going to have some of them on, because some of these nurses' stories are just phenomenal. Just some of the things they've seen. And it's kind of like on the last episode, we were talking about the celebrity ghost stories, how it's cool because these celebrities are in a position, they're in this humbling position for the first time of being, I've never believed in this. I've never even thought about this until this happened to me. And that's kind of the way it is with a lot of these nurses' stories too, is it becomes very real, once it's 3 or 4 feet away from you.
Well, yeah, I absolutely would see that. And I'm surprised you don't see like more stories of haunted fire stations and stuff. And I'm not trying to be funny, but but they're staffed around the clock, but you won't see as many eyes.
That's true. That's true. I mean, I was just thinking, again, I'm going to be the Willy Wonka character because there's the Haunted Hospital show. There's a Hotel Paranormal, I think it's called. That's a show about nothing but haunted hotel rooms, from coast to coast. So schools is another big one. I don't know why, the one that pops into mind whenever I think of haunted schools was security cam footage from a school in the UK. Everything that was captured on that video happened, when nobody was there, like 3 o'clock in the morning. I'll have to find that video. I'm sure you've seen it at some point along the way. The rocker, the lockers rocking back and forth, the chair levitates and all this stuff. So we're going to be doing an investigation at a medical facility. We're going to be checking for it because there's been a lot of claims that come out of here. A lot of different claims of paranormal activity in this particular area of this facility. And we've actually, I've talked to these people before, people in housekeeping, and they're like, we've experienced this. And I actually talked to one day who had just experienced, he came running out, from back there. It's like, I swear to God, someone just ran behind me, and as I went faster, it ran faster. Freaked out.
And this is during the day.
During the day, yes. This is during the day. Now, our stuff will be captured, overnight, but yeah, this is during the day, and I think we've played this audio piece before. There's one room. There's one room back there, and I'm not going to give the room number because I don't want to get too specific, where most of the activity seems to be centered, if not all. And one late evening, the housekeeping staff thought they heard talking back there. So they went into this room and started recording because they thought it would be fun to do because they've heard the claims, that come out of, that area back there. So they went inside and started recording, and they actually captured a really good EVP that they did not hear at the time.
And most EVPs you don't hear at the time.
Yeah, they didn't know that. They thought they were going to video something move or, a shadow or something. They were videoing for video. They didn't know they were going to catch a piece on audio, and they didn't even realize they caught it until they had already ran out of the room because they ran out of the room at the end of the clip because they heard something else. So we're going to play the audio portion of this video for you and let you kind of hear what they captured when they were in that room. Here we go.
This shit's awesome, dude.
And that was the piece right there. Now, that is a really good, we've had lots of people, not to put anybody down, but we've had lots of people send us EVPs they've caught. And, I've got to really crank it up. And I was like, I think I might hear something there. I can't really be sure. There is no doubt on this one. And there's two people in the room. There's two females in the room. This EVP was neither one of them. They said we didn't whisper, we didn't talk, at that time. We didn't even hear that happen. So let's go ahead and roll. Were you going to say something about it, John?
Well, what I was going to say is that they've got this set up almost for a perfect situation because if you think about it, most of the EVPs that Chris and I get emailed in, there's television, and it's loud. Someone's playing music, very loud. There's dogs barking. There's people living,
motorcycles,
people talking. I mean, there's everything.
A damn motorcycle.
This thing you can't hear anything except for it, and that's what you want.
Yep. It was perfectly isolated, and it was at the right moment in time. And I'm going to tell you what someone thinks that they hear this EVP saying here in a minute, but I do want you to hear it a couple more times before we do that. So let's go ahead and roll it again.
It's awesome, dude.
That was it right there. You can almost hear it take like a big breath.
Yeah,
I was getting ready to say that. You can almost hear it inhale.
Like a big deep breath before it starts talking. Let's do
play
that one more time. Okay. That is a really good capture, and it's not your typical, I don't want to say amateur, like we're up here on some pedestal, but you know what I'm saying? You know, non-paranormal group capture. They usually don't sound that clear. I'm going to roll it one more time.
And also another thing that usually kills these things is there's a tremendous amount of handling noise. They've set that recorder down, or someone's being very still with it. She
sat her iPhone on the bed when they went inside, pointed towards this area where they thought they heard the talking. It's a video. This is a video. What were you going to say, Dustin?
No, I was just thinking about what I think it says. But I don't want to say it yet.
Okay. Well, so we've got two possibilities. There's infinite possibilities, but we've got two.
Do we want to say what the two? So we played it a few times already.
Okay, sure.
What did your guy say?
A friend of mine sent this to someone that he knows, and he said that the EVP to that person sounds like it says, "I'm Nick, and this is my place." You know what I think it says? What? Oh, I like that better. It's not about which one you like better. It's about what it is. But let's listen again and see. So we've got, "I'm Nick, this is my place," or "I'm never leaving this place." That's pretty freaky if it's that. Let's listen one more time. I'm never leaving. This is my place. Is what I heard that time.
Okay,
I heard
yeah.
a combination of the two. I heard I'm never leaving.
See, I
this
still
is
heard
my...
Nick. Let's do it
Okay,
again.
let's do it one more. I can hear never. Here's the thing. For those of you listening
I
to the
just
podcast.
feel like the sound that starts with an N has a 2 syllables.
I do too. It sounded like never. Here's the thing for those of you listening. We listen to a lot of EVPs, and here's how the human brain works. Whenever we listen to one over and over and over and over and over, and one of us think we get an idea of what it says, that's the only damn thing you can hear from that point on.
You've ruined it then.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no more studying past
There's
that
no more
point.
studying
Right,
at that point,
except for that one that
because
I
that's
was-
all you can hear.
What was that one that I came up with really?
Mr. Kusich. I forgot about that.
Yeah, I said-
that was very specific.
And I don't think anyone ever heard that other
I think
than me.
you're really wanting one of us to say, and he's the guy who owned it.
Like it was like at the end of an episode of Matlock. Yeah. Case closed. Okay, so let's go ahead and do it again. So we've got here. So we have 3 possibilities now. We've got I'm Nick. This is my place. I'm. What did you think it was?
I'm never,
He says, I'm never leaving this place.
Okay, let's listen.
or
one
I'm
more
never
time.
leaving. This is my place. It's something weird. I don't
Here
know.
we go.
I still
don't
hear
know.
I'm Nick.
And now I'm hearing obvious. I don't know. Who knows? It's not there.
That was the other thing that they said. They said it either says like I'm Nick, this is my place, or something. It's obvious.
and what did the people say before? What were they talking about?
You want me to
there?
rewind it to the very beginning?
I don't know. I'm
this
just
is
trying
when
to-
they first entered the room. One of them was hesitant to enter. The other was like, come on, let's go in. It'll be fun.
And one of them, I think they said like this is awesome or something.
She was talking about paranormal stuff in general.
Okay.
Because the one was freaked out. She's like, I don't want to go in there. She's like, come on, this is awesome.
I just wanted some context
Yeah,
to see
that-
if maybe the
that's-
obvious thing made sense.
Okay, well, let's play it from the beginning.
This shit's awesome, dude.
I hear this is my place.
I hear I'm
hearing
Nick.
obvious more now.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right,
do
one
it
last
again.
time. One last time. I'm gonna now. It's all I'm gonna hear is obvious. And now I don't know because I can see the duck and the bunny. You know what I'm saying? It depends on if I'm looking at it to see the duck or if I'm looking at it to see the bunny.
What do you see, John? Duck or bunny?
I still hear I'm Nick. This is my
I
place.
see a bunny with a bill. Yeah, I don't know. So anyway, if you hear something different, you guys listening to the podcast.
I mean, you have just as much. We clearly don't know what we're doing.
Of course not. We're not gifted. We've already covered that. If you hear something that you would like to share, if you think you know what it says, and we haven't been giving our contact information out at all.
No.
So we probably should do that a little bit. MWGhostHunters.com. MWGhostHunters.com is the website, and you can email us contact@MWGhostHunters.com, and you can email us anything. We've got pictures of possible big feet.
If you guys want to email anybody, email the guys that just spent a whole episode talking about how they have no real talents.
Exactly.
Email us, ask us for advice.
Email the guys who are always saying, well, we don't know, but
We just
what
spent
the hell
40
do
minutes talking about how we have no talents. So.
what the hell do we know? We just take our instruments out there and set them up. But yeah, that's our contact information. It's mwghosthunters.com or contact@mwghosthunters.com if you want to email us anytime.
It's MW.
Yes, MW. M as in what? Yes, there
Mary.
you go. There you
And
go.
W as in wiffle ball.
There you go. Okay, so anyway, we're playing. That's the audio capture that was caught by the housekeeping staff, and we're gonna get some recorders going back there and see if we can get a little more. Maybe we'll get something that'll clear that up. I don't know. Hopefully, we will. And we'll have that to present to you here on the podcast really soon. Oh, and I forgot to tell you guys. So at one point, we were going to do an investigation at the abandoned skilled nursing facility, and then it sold, and then blah, 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 and then, that all fell through. Well, the bad news is that still fell through. The good news is I've been in touch with the people at the rehabilitation center, the tuberculosis hospital in Mount Vernon again. That's looking much more promising for this winter. 2022, early 2022 is the possibility. So I'm going to keep talking to them. We're talking about the big old I was
Did
worried
we do an
that
investigation near that place once?
Yes, we did that at Paul's house, and I call him Paul like we know him. We'd never met the man, but he was super nice. We did an investigation at his house, and his house was actually near where they buried the people who died of tuberculosis from that hospital. And we actually caught kids coughing on EVP, which is freaky as hell.
Is that the place where I heard the little girl in the closet?
Yes, it is. Yep. That's
Well,
it.
and what also makes it even creepier too is you're not really sure in Missouri where people are buried, because the way they used to move cemeteries here is they would move the headstones and leave the bodies.
That's what they did there too. That's the same. They built a highway there, and they're like, "Screw this, we're moving the headstones."
Think of how much money that saves.
Yeah, exhuming bodies costs a fortune. Yeah. It costs a fortune, and there's certain processes and procedures that you have to do when handling a corpse. It's just really, a lot of red tape. That back then they were like, "Screw it, we're not going through that. We'll just move the headstones," and that's what happened a lot. And that's what happened in that particular house down there. And that's what were we talking? There was something you were talking about. Well, I don't even remember, but that happened somewhere else too. But anyway, the reason I brought up the closed skilled nursing facility investigation is because I thought it and this one had both fallen through. But turns out I suddenly got a response back. The last time we communicated was like in June, and then I got one back like 2 weeks ago. So that is hopefully going to happen. That would be awesome.
We could even now do this one during the day.
Yes.
If that would make them a little less.
I'm all for throwing out the whole has to be at night thing. And I know you guys are flexible on that.
Well, I don't necessarily have to throw it out, but I'm flexible with introducing daytime too.
That it has to be at night.
Yeah.
Throwing that out. Like the idea like, it has to be between 7 and 10 or 11 or 12 midnight.
Yeah.
Like
the golden hour is 3
because
a.m.
we have crazy schedules. It helps us.
It does,
and
yes.
if we can catch just the same quality stuff.
Look, we've caught some amazing stuff here, like we said, at brunch time on a Sunday morning with the sun shining bright. So
I knew that would happen. One of you guys bet me $50 we wouldn't.
It was John, and it was 500.
500. I missed a zero on there.
But though, I mean, on the other side of the coin, they would say, okay, well, look at all the great evidence you guys caught there. Think how much better it would be late at night.
And that may be true. That could very well be true. I don't know. That would be the theory you have to test. And then how do you determine levels of goodness of your, captures?
We'd have to make a scale.
I mean, when you talk about, the whistling, we caught that. If we catch that at night, that's a grade A capture.
Yeah.
And it is during the day too. I mean, we don't walk around whistling. We just don't. The same reason we don't walk around whispering or, trying to talk in a ghostly, cadence or tone. We just don't do it. We've got just amazing stuff during the day, here. I mean, we're still going to do night investigations, just mainly because it's funnier to get scared at night, especially with John. It's funny. Remember that time we were doing that podcast at that investigation, and we didn't know the other guy had snuck back into the house. Do you remember what I'm talking about? I don't want to get too specific, but the other guy, like the other homeowner's friend, snuck back.
I don't remember this.
Snuck back into the house, and we're doing an EVP, and all of a sudden we hear this raspy voice coming, from the other. From the other side. And I remember it was pitch black in there. I could only see John's silhouette. I could only see the silhouette of him. And after that guy chimed in, I saw John bring the mic up to his mouth and hold it there for like 5 seconds and then just put it back down like never freaking mind. It's like there's no saving this at this point.
No.
So, that was an outlier. That's never happened before. We've never had anybody, anybody from the home wander back in during the investigation and start talking. I mean, I'm talking about, my God, a total heart attack for a split second because it's like the guy had a weird voice anyway.
It was a really creepy voice.
Yeah. And that's the only reason I bring that up, because if it hadn't been at night, it wouldn't have been as funny because I could see John's silhouette in like the window.
I mean, if you heard this voice in the middle of middle of the day at a grocery store, you'd be like, "Damn, that was kind of scary."
And I saw John bring the mic up and like hesitate for a minute and just put it down and shake his head like, no, there's no point in saying anything at this point. No. But anyway, yeah.
That was good.
So we're going to do another EVP session when we're done with this podcast here at Pythian Castle. Hopefully when we come back next week, we'll have some more good stuff to show you because we've got some really good stuff.
And we really do want you to help us out. If there's, listen to that EVP we played.
Listen to this podcast.
Yes.
There's no telling, and I haven't been listening with those ears. So here.
We have headsets on. So there could be something talking to us to the left of us, and we wouldn't hear it.
And we're not being ridiculous when we say that, because we have done on-location podcasts like this before from homes, and we've had shit come through on the microphones that we did not hear at the time.
I remember when one of the times we were out at Ashley's house, I went back to the studio and started putting this stuff together, and I sent you guys a message. Says
there was tons.
Yeah, I said it's on here.
There was tons on there. There was just and there was stuff that our recorders didn't catch. So the point being, we're going to get to the point here. Maybe next week when we come out, we're going to get the wireless mics and kind of wander around a little bit.
That'd be good.
Kind of wander around the castle a little bit. That would be a more likely time to catch something like that. But we have caught EVPs in this room. In this room we're sitting in right now, we have caught EVPs in our recorders. So there could at any point be something, pop up on here that we don't hear. And I need to listen back to our podcast kind of with those ears. I haven't been doing that. I've been listening. I've been keeping it on. I'll listen to our latest episode, just to see how it sounds, but I haven't been listening to listen. So that's one thing that we do probably need to start doing. And you guys, if you hear anything, any anomaly pop up while we're doing
just tell
this,
tell us a timestamp. Say at 30 minutes, 32
just give
minutes.
us a general idea of where to focus, and we'll listen. You can email us, contact@mwghosthunters.com, and we'll be sure and listen to that, because that does happen. That's happened to us a lot.
Yeah. Some of our first live podcasts we did. I mean, think about the number of listeners that sent in emails.
Oh, tons. Yeah. We had tons of people.
And some of them caught all kinds of stuff that we'd even missed.
Yeah.
Make sure to, like I said, tell us when.
I think
when it was. It's around the time when they were talking about ducks and bunnies. Listen around that time.
Right.
So I think, and this is kind of something I've been thinking about, kind of in that same vein, whenever we go to a house and do a podcast, I think one of our episodes needs to be one of those. We actually do the investigation as the podcast on the podcast. You know what I'm saying?
Well, we've done that before, haven't we?
We did. Not from here. Not from here.
We did from Ashley's, but we have not.
Like here?
Here.
This would actually be a good one to do it at.
Here. Why the hell haven't we?
Yeah.
I mean, good Lord. So we'll do that for sure. We'll carry our mics around.
Why didn't we do that for Halloween?
I don't know.
We're so dumb.
We're not gifted at all.
We have no talent.
Hey, we talked about our favorite Halloween movies.
We did. And then I made a list and went home and watched Halloween movies.
Why didn't we do that? Oh, good Lord. We were talking about painting pumpkins and shit. Anyway, good Lord almighty.
I like the Halloween movie one.
Yeah,
I like
good.
I actually did too. I thought that was good, and that actually pointed me in a good direction to watch some stuff when I got home.
And I did too.
But still, I mean, Lord, the obvious seems to be to do an investigation on Halloween.
And the real funny thing is we caught shit anyway.
Yes, we did. Yeah, even though we didn't, even though we did everything in our power not to, we did.
So we are talented.
So we do have a little bit of talent. So yeah, I think we'll do that. Do an investigation, kind of just here on the main level, because we've got evidence down here. Plenty. Right. So we'll do that coming up soon.
I do my best work accidentally.
You just stumble upon it.
Yeah.
So we'll do that soon. We've got a lot of stuff coming up, and we'll have more. I'm pretty confident between the EVPs we get here and the ones we get. I almost said it at the. What was that?
Nothing.
Did you hear something?
No.
Okay. Yes, you did.
I'm not willing to say live on air that I heard something.
Because I heard something over there too.
I'm not willing.
Okay. We've got recorders over there. We'll listen through those.
We'll find it if it's there.
But anyway, when we come back next week, I am fairly confident we will have EVPs to show you. Can't guarantee that, but hopefully we'll have something that we can bring to the podcast. And we do appreciate you guys downloading it. We appreciate Pythian Castle for letting us come out and do this here. And we'll be back here next week, hopefully with some new EVPs to show you and lots of exciting stuff.
And another episode very soon, Midwest Ghost Hunters Dark Matter Podcast.